So I'm glad I got this piece off. I'll use that 4/0 steel wool the gentleman had recommended that I do, and then be able to clean that off. I'm thinking they must have screwed this in and maybe clamped it down and maybe bent this over, because I don't know what kind of screwdriver they would have used to get that in there. Okay, so I've been using some of the 180 on it. Pretty much have all the original finish off of the stock. There are a little bit some deeper nicks and stuff. I don't know how aggressive I really want to be with this sandpaper. I really wanted to smooth it out. Got some marks here, but just got a little bit more sanding to do with this 180, and then I'm going to move on to the 220. So I'm just finishing up with the 180 paper. I kept working on this area here and along here, and I just can't seem to get the color to come to like the blonde wood, and I'm thinking it's from oil when whoever had the rifle before was like oiling the action and the barrel and stuff like that. So I mean, I keep sanding and I keep seeing this in the wood, so I'm going to move on to the next round of sandpaper. Alrighty, now I'm going to do the 400 grit. That was close. Didn't want to squeeze it down too tightly. I'm going to use some of this to clean up the trigger. I don't know if this thing's focusing good enough, but there's some rust on the trigger here. Better. I was putting tape and stuff down here to try to keep some of that sawdust out. So the gentleman who was giving me tips on finishing up this rifle said use this true oil and thin it down a little bit with mineral spirits. I saw he was using glass jars. I didn't have any little mason jars, so hopefully my wife won't miss this little jar, but that's what I'm going to use to mix the two up and then just start rubbing the oil on the stock. I thought the state of New York was bad. I guess if you live in California, can't even work with this stuff. He also said for best results, use your hands to rub this in. Nice. This is a close-up of the first coat. It says it could take 2 hours to 24 hours to dry, depending on your climate. I don't know what the humidity is today, but it's pretty low. The instructions say in between coats, put you could use some double-aught steel wool, which I have, in case you see imperfections. I don't know if I have any imperfections in there. I mean, it had its original deep nicks, but and then I guess to do this 3 or 4 times. Alright. Here's a close-up of barrel. Shoots 22 short. I don't know if this thing is focusing. Long and long rifle. It's got some marks at the top of the barrel. I was thinking this rifle is pretty old. Like on here, it says USA patent pending, so it never even had the patent, I guess, established for this. So I just did some quick research on it, and it says if it's stamped model 67 and not 67A, it says they never serialize these rifles. But if it's marked 67 versus 67A, it was manufactured between 1934, April of 1934 and December of 1937. So it's a pretty old rifle. See if a little bit of polishing will take care of this rust that's on here. It seemed to help it out a bit. They look a lot better than they did before. I don't know if this light's good enough. There is pitting on the charging handle. I don't know what to do with that. Might just have to leave it. And there's these little scratches in the barrel, and I guess they go below the finish because I was not able to wipe them out. So next step is I'm going to put a second coat of oil on the stock, and then 2 more coats, and then reassemble the firearm. I'm not looking forward to putting this screw in, I'll just tell you that now. Let's get to cleaning this up. It's got some sort of stain, like wood stain on there. I got the end plate all cleaned up. It's very brittle though, so I want to be careful I don't crack this thing when I put this back on. I've got 4 coats of the True Oil on here. I think it turned out pretty nice. Now let's start reassembling the rifle. I'm going to try to use the same threads and not cross-thread this thing. Okay, it's about as tight as I can go, hand tight. I was going to try to show you guys doing this, but it's hard for me to show the camera angle, so I'll just do this off camera. Well, it wasn't that bad. I wasn't able to show you because my hands would be in the way, but I got it lined up like it originally was. Beautiful. I have the bolt carrier cleaned up pretty well. I already have it lubed up. I'll put just a drop or two in there. There's some pitting in this chrome. I'm going to try some of that Evaporust gel. It says it's supposed to be safe for chrome, and just to try to help get some of that rust that's in there that I can't get out. I have to look into investing in some of those. That screwdriver set made specifically for firearms. Well, this was a fun little project. Not bad. Looking for roughly about an 80-year-old rifle. Stock turned out pretty well. There's the marks on the top of the barrel here. I couldn't get them out with that steel wool. I think they're showing up there on the camera. So I guess I'll just have to leave it. Probably just gives it a little bit of character. Hopefully within about a month I'll be able to take my son out to one of my friend's properties and let him take this out for a spin. Here's a shot of the other side of the rifle. Here's another upcoming project I'll be working on. I'll be restoring this 4.5-inch jaw pony vise. Thanks again for watching.